Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is Zillafan85 back today with a new video, new figure review. Today we are going to go ahead and review my Kamacuras and Kumonga Gashapon figures. So these figures, if I do recall correctly, I do believe they come as a set when you get them, or at least usually if you get them brand new, they'll come as a set. That is kind of nice in and of itself to get those together. So I was definitely happy when I did pick these up, because at the time I had no other forms of Kamacuras and Kumonga as far as figures go. So obviously this was back in the days when I was collecting all the Gashapon figures that I had. These particular versions of Kamacuras and Kumonga, though, are based on their Final Wars incarnation, not their Showa incarnations. So that is one thing to kind of keep in mind. I don't think it really clicked to me at the time that I bought them. You know, again, this was many years ago. But again, though, I was just happy to have Kamacuras and Kumonga in my collection once I got these. Now, though, I thankfully was able to get a hold of the Bandai Kamacuras and also the YMSF Kumonga, so for standard size figures, which I'm much more all about, nowadays, getting the standard size figures. So, I was really glad that I did get those. I'll definitely plan to be reviewing those in the future. But, for now, though, definitely want to go ahead and take a look at these guys. I'm doing my best to try and knock out my the rest of my Gashapon figures, and then, this way I can mostly just focus on my my standard size figures from there. I've got a bunch more of those to cover, including some some SH Monster Arts figures, a bunch of those which I've now added to my collection, which I've really fallen in love with the line. So I'll look forward to reviewing all that in the future, but for right now I kind of want to knock out these minifigures, these Gashapon figures. So again, these are minifigures, Gashapons. So Kumonga here is probably, lengthwise, he's probably about an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches long. Kamacuras, I don't know, maybe about 2.5 to 3 inches long. He's a bit bigger than Kumonga, as you guys can see there. So again, though, obviously these are minifigures, though. So other than that, though, just kind of jumping in with the paint and the detail. First, the paint with Kamacuras. As you can see, this sort of lighter green color for the main color scheme of his body. I almost want to say a lime green, but it's not quite lime color. It's a little more dulled out. Lime is usually a little brighter green than this, but it is definitely a lighter shade of green, though. So as you guys can see that, and of course it's got like this sort of reddish maroonish highlights going down on the spikes there on his back. Okay, and also you can see the spikes on the side of his abdomen area here, and into his pincers, or that stinger, whatever that is, on his tip of his tail there. So that looks pretty good. Yep, and that's of course one thing to point out with these is these Gashapon figures, since they pop into place, a lot of times the parts don't stay in well. You can always glue them if you want to try to keep them more permanent. I've glued a couple Gashapon figures in my collection so far. I may do more, because definitely don't like this stuff popping out like that. Once again, I apologize, folks. Bear with me. Alright, and then otherwise you got this sort of clear translucent color for the outer wings that he's got there. So you guys can see that. Nicely done. And then of course this yellowish color for his eyes. So that all looks good there. Kumonga's paint scheme. He's sort of got this sort of tannish, like a light brown or tannish color for the main part of his body, with some shading of darker brown throughout, as you guys can see on the legs and the, his abdomen area. Nothing really underneath. As you can see, it's pretty plain, just the plain lighter tan brown color. He's got the blue for the eyes, which that part is pretty accurate, you know, because he's at either the blue eyes or the red eyes, Kumonga, depending on when you see him. That's done pretty well. The sort of tan brown color, I'm not really sure where they came up with that, because whether it's the Showa Kumonga or the Final Wars Kumonga, if I remember correctly, his color scheme is supposed to be like a black color, either a very dark brown or a black color, and then have like highlights of yellow throughout his body. So like a black and yellow color is what he's supposed to have. So I'm not really sure why they did with the two shades of brown here. I've always been a little bit puzzled by that with the paint scheme on him. Kamacuras, though, definitely the paint scheme does capture pretty well, namely so, you know, because it is based on the Final Wars design, and definitely does capture that well. And speaking of that, we'll jump into the detail here. Looking at Kamacuras, you can see that he's got his claws there. Those are done pretty well. You see they got the nice etching on those. You got the eyes there. Hopefully the camera focuses for us a bit. Doing the best I can. It's a little bit better. You guys can see that. Of course, the detail work on the spikes with the almost little bumps in between the larger spikes there. We've got all the patterning on the wings there, on the inner wings where the green is, and then of course where the clear part is, actually very, very nicely detailed, as you guys can see there. On the underside as well, see it on top. Unfortunately, that's going to keep happening, it seems like. I apologize, folks. Bear with me just for one moment. Yeah, I do apologize about that. It does, like I said, bring up that issue with the parts not staying into place. So this one definitely may be worth gluing together. Kumonga, not really any issues with stuff popping off, but as you can see, Kamacuras notorious for that. Anyways, other than that, though, and you've got the legs here, which have some like more of a gruff texture, so it's not completely smooth there, as you guys can see, with the feet on the end there. And of course the sort of scaling on his abdomen area, so you can see on the top as well as the bottom. So you guys can see that, of course, the Bandai labeling here at Toho. Bandai China. On the back of the wings, that's usually something that's pretty signature to see the Bandai logoing on all these figures. Okay, so that kind of covers most of it. And of course, like these little horns, or I guess they're antenna on his head there. So definitely captures Kamacuras' look pretty darn well, I think. And then, of course, the detail work for Kumonga. So you guys can see here with the spider legs and the segments on the legs there, which are certainly captured quite well. You got the sharp points on the ends of his legs there. You got the pincers and mandibles there. Mouth area, which looks really, really good. The eyes there look pretty decent. There should be, he should have more of the eyes though. He should have the smaller eyes other than the main ones. So I think that was kind of a missed opportunity there. But again, it is a Gashapon figure, so you know, with a minifigure, you don't know how much detail you're really gonna get. But not too bad though. You guys can see him trying to focus. There you go. Of course, a little pattern. So I guess these are kind of the outer eyes, but they're just not really colored in the blue color, though. They're more of that brownish color. Whoops. Sorry. And then, of course, on the underside, not really a whole lot of detail here, just kind of more of the patterning of the legs and all that. showing the different leg segments and all that. And of course, the Bandai logoing with the Toho on there on his underside. So pretty plain on the underside there, but detail work on the on this top side is pretty well done. You can actually see on the abdomen area here as well, almost like little fur on there, so they etched that in pretty well. So that's pretty nicely done for him. So I think that basically covers the paint and detail work for Kamacuras and Kumonga. Articulation, again, Gashapon, you're really not going to get much. You can maybe sort of move Kamacuras' head a little bit, but that's just, again, because the pieces pop into place. So the legs are a little bendy, so you can just kind of mess with them a bit, but again, you're not really going to get any posability out of them. So, and like I said, for the most part with Gashapons, that is always the case, but because I have to take each video individually, I always try and point it out with each of these videos. So if I do sound redundant with that, I do apologize, folks, but like I said, I got to take each video individually. And then for Kumonga, really no articulation at all, so pretty much is what it is. But again, like I always try and cover with the Gashapon figures, they're really just for display purposes. So now this set, when I got it, I'm pretty certain it was less than $20. If I've seen correctly, I haven't really looked lately on eBay, but last time I did check, it still was pretty affordable, maybe in that $20 range still for the set. If you're going to pay for them individually, I would not pay $20 for each of these, but if you're getting them as the set, then $20 is certainly a reasonable price. If you don't have Kamacuras and Kumonga in your collection, you're looking to add figures, you don't mind maybe just having the miniature figures, or if you just like the Gashapons and want to add them to your collection, definitely it's nice to have Kamacuras and Kumonga added. Even if these aren't their Showa incarnations, that they're their Final Wars incarnations, everybody's tastes are different. I prefer the Showa designs for most of the kaiju, but that's just me. So other than that, I think that does about cover it for everything, folks. I would definitely like to thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.